Hey all, we're working on the challenge in the collections module in importing for intermediate Python. This asks us to complete the function called five most common, and that takes a string as a parameter and then returns the five most common words in that string. We do have some hints here. We'll need to clean the string so punctuation and case do not matter. And it also tells us there may be a method associated with our container that we can use to simplify the problem. You can always check Python documentation for help. And we do need to make an import statement here. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. And from collections, I'm going to just go ahead and import the counter. And I have this doc string. It tells me exactly what I want my function to do. But as the hint said, the first thing that I need to do is to take care of case and strip away all the punctuations. So first thing I'm going to do is just lower the case of everything. I have string as my input, so I'll use the .lower method, which returns a lowercase version of the string, and assign that to my variable lower in this case. And then I'm going to go ahead and clean up all of this punctuation. I'm going to do it one by one with the .replace method. And what I want to replace in this case is a period, and I just like to replace it with an empty space. Similarly, I'm going to clean a few other different types of punctuation. I also want to take care of commas. I want to take care of exclamation points, and I want to take care of question marks. Now, of course, on these last three calls, I'm not going to be calling lower anymore. I'm going to be calling clean. So I can go ahead and just replace each of those with clean. So now I've done the first part. I have taken care of my punctuation. I've taken care of my case. Everything's lowercase. All my punctuation's removed. So now what I need to do is actually come up with my counts. And to do that, I'm going to use the counter function, which I had imported at the very beginning. And I want to do that on a split version of my cleaned string. So I'm going to say clean.split, run the counter function on that, and then go ahead and assign that to counts. So now I will have this counter object, which is very similar to a dictionary, but that's not what it's asking for. It's asking for a list of the five most common words. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use a list comprehension here. And what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to return a list where word for word count in counts dot most common. And I want the five most common objects. So what we're doing here is we're iterating through our counter, which is called counts. This is much like a dictionary where there's sort of a key and a value. And we can see, right, that key is sort of the word and that value is sort of the count of how many times that word happens. So when I iterate through counts, I just want to, counts.mostCommon will automatically pull out the five items with the highest frequency from that counter. So I'm going to iterate through those where I have a word count or a key value pair, and I only want to add my word to the list. That is, I'm only trying to return the five most common words. So I'll go ahead and run that test. This should give me a pass. I can see that is the case. right? So again, these first 5 lines of code, we just clean up the string. Then we make a counter object using the counter function, which we imported from collections. And then we used the counts.mostCommon that returns the 5 most common key value pairs. And I only want the key added to my list in this comprehension. So this gives me a list with my 5 most common words from the string.